like we're going to be. And then Miriam, you can go a little closer to your chair. All right, so that's how we'll do most of the like standing poses, okay? Yeah, perfect. Okay. Oh, all right, yeah. So let's see. All right, so I'm here with my two fittest friends as we go through the Egoscue series. So it starts with arm circles. So bringing your arms out like a T, make fists and point your thumbs forward. And we're going to do 75 of these. So it's just small. 2, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 17, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right? And so, and we're keeping our feet right underneath us, right? So we're standing up nice and tall and engaging abs a little bit as we turn our palms up now and go backwards 75 times. One, 70, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. The next is the elbow movements. So bringing knuckles to the temples, and we're just bringing the elbows together 20 times. All right, so now it's 20 cat-cows. So doing a cat-cow, just coming onto hands and knees, bringing hands right under the shoulders, knees right under the hips, and it's simple. Inhale, shoulders come up and back, lift your tailbone, look up, and exhale, curling spine in, looking to the belly button. That's 1. So 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, 5, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1. Okay. So next is this, it's like a psoas release is this move. So you come onto your back and bend your knees, lying down, and you're just lifting one leg just, I think it's like 6 degrees from the ground, or excuse me, 40 degrees from the ground. So you're not activating the psoas muscle, right? And you're just lifting your toe. And we're going to do 20 on each side for 3 sets. Right? So it's just a simple move. 1, just like this. 4. Just making sure that you're not activating that psoas muscle in the groin area. You did one foot, then go on to the other. Teaching the psoas to relax, especially if you're sitting a lot in the day. Making sure not to lift your foot up too far. Did it? Okay, so now we're back to cat-cows again. We're doing another 20 sets of 20 cat-cow. So just the same thing that we did before. 20 times. Here is maybe one of the least popular of the exercises, crunches. So it's 100 crunches in total. And what we're going to do is bring our legs are at a 90-degree angle, crossing one ankle over the other. Hands come behind the head, but the elbows stay open. And we're just coming up, all right? So we're not crunching in like this, but instead creating up. Right? So we're doing 25 with this foot position. And when you've done that 25, then you're just switching your ankles and doing another 25. We've done those 25, then we're doing like a twist. So you just twist over, kind of looking over one side of the leg and then the other side for 25. Then when you've done those 25, then you switch ankles and do another final 25. Oof. And when you complete that, then you go into a down dog. So take a moment here. There's no time element in this down dog in the series. So just really give it a good stretch, really pressing hands firmly on the mat, extending fingers long, trying to bring ankles toward the mat, bringing hips towards the sky. Feel the stretch in your arms as you lift your hips away. So you're pressing into the mat and you're pressing your hips up and you're pressing your heels down and you're giving yourself a full, big stretch. Relax your neck here. Really, you can shake that out for a moment. Just look at your belly button. Just breathe. Nice. And then you can just drop down to your knees and come up to standing. One thing about this series is there's a lot of up and down. So you're going to notice that, but that's kind of part of it. All right. And so the next thing we're doing is a triangle pose. So your feet are wider. Let's start with the left foot turning, facing parallel to the long edge of your mat, and that it's in line. So the heel, if you draw a line, it goes to the inside of this back arch, bringing arms up like a T. Shift your hips backward toward the right, and then you're going to lean forward and over this extended leg. So it's a big side stretch, right? So it's the same psoas muscle that's happening here that we were deactivating in with those simple toe lifts, simple leg lifts right at the beginning. So now we're stretching that same muscle and breathing. There, that's it. Let's just inhale, come back up, and we'll change sides. Okay. Right, so as you're doing this, you're relaxing your bottom shoulder as you're reaching down towards that extended leg. And that's it, just coming back up. So next is the extended side angle. So legs are much wider here as we bring this left foot again parallel with the long edges of the mat, bending this knee. You can rest your left elbow on your thigh and bring your right arm up and over, right? So the angle is coming from the fingertips all the way down to that back right foot, and breathe. And to really give this a good stretch, you'll notice that same psoas is where a lot of lower back pain comes from. So that's why he puts a lot of focus in it with this series. So we're just breathing. And that's it. So just release that, and we'll do the other side. Okay. Simple. So now we're going to do called a runner's stretch in this series. So to get into it, you're going to come down to your right knee and you're going to measure it out so that your right knee is right behind the left heel. And then straighten both legs so that your feet are in one straight line. And that's your lunge. Okay, so both legs are straight and you might need blocks. If you can't reach the ground, use blocks to come down and stretch. Relatively flat back, engaging the legs here, breathing. Right, so this is a little different from a pyramid pose in yoga in that the back foot is in line directly with the front foot. Right, so let's come up from that. Just step yourself forward and we'll measure out the other side. So coming down, get your knee behind your heel, then straightening both feet, having both feet in line, kind of get yourself balanced, and then you can come down with both legs straight and breathe. Okay, so come on up, step yourself up, and then we're coming down now, we're doing push-ups. All right, and so it's as many push-ups as you can without going crazy is basically what the instruction is here. So if it's one, that's that. Good job, you did it. If it's 0 regular push-ups and you want to be on your knees, that's fine. So it's a matter of just working your way up. The idea is that we're doing this daily is what he's recommending. So with time, you get stronger doing push-ups. So we do as many push-ups as we can. And it's basically just to get the heart beating too. It's another thing. We don't always do that, especially first thing in the morning, right? To just kind of get the juices flowing. So now we're bringing our legs out wide. And again, if this in itself feels too much, you can place a blanket underneath your hips or even a block, again, just sitting up on your hips so that you can feel a little comfortable just sitting with your legs open like this. And we're doing a side stretch here. So we're just reaching over toward one foot. Breathe. It. So let's come back up and do the other side. Okay. There we go. So now we're coming up to stand. And we're doing kind of a similar shape, except in a standing pose. So legs are out wide. And we start by just folding forward. So coming down, again, these blocks can be really handy if the floor feels far away. You can have a block here as you're just reaching forward, leaning down, breathing. Have a little more weight in the front of the feet towards the toes, and then you can just walk yourself over to the left, come toward the left leg and give a good stretch. And then walk yourself over to the other side. Come back to center, and then bringing hands to the hips and just slowly with bent knees come to stand all the way up. Now we're in the home stretch, right? Okay, so let's come on to the back now. And we're going to do one of Egoscue's signature moves, which are ankle circles, which is not something we tend to really work out, right? So you can bring hands behind the leg and just make circles with your ankles, 40 in one direction and 40 in the other. Ooh, and when you do that, then it's 20 point and flexes. Ooh, and when you're done with that, then it's onto the other side. Point and flex when you're done with those circles. All right, so now we can stay on our backs and come over to your right side and bring your knees to 90 degrees. All right, so you're bending your knees. Bring both arms out in front of you, palms together. So nice straight arms here. So you're completely on your side. And then on your inhale, you're just opening up this top arm and coming into a twist. Breathing. And when you're done with this, you can just bring that top arm back over and set yourself up for the other side. So again, bringing your legs to a 90 degrees, bringing both arms straight forward, palms together, and then on the inhale, bring that top arm up and open. Okay, when you're done, you can just bring that arm back and come back onto your back. Right, there's no set timeline on this, so sometimes it's nice to stay in these positions a little bit longer. Okay, so from here, knees are bent. Bring your left leg up, cross your ankle over your right leg, so you have a figure 4 shape with your legs. And then you're just tilting these legs over to the right so that the left sole of the foot comes to the mat, left knee up towards the sky. Hands can be anywhere you want, maybe on your belly, maybe open like a cross. It's totally up to you, whatever's comfortable in the upper body, just relaxing here. Inhale, these legs come back, and we switch sides. Bring the left leg down, bring the right leg up, have that nice figure 4 shape as you tip your legs over to the left. The right sole of the foot comes to the floor, right knee towards thigh. Breathe. Okay, so we inhale these legs back up, and you can keep this shape now. We're going to come into a supine pigeon. So bringing the right hand through the gap in the legs to interlace fingers behind the left thigh, relaxing the upper body as you bring your legs towards your chest. Feel that nice stretch in the back of the thigh and the hip. Breathe. And releasing this, bringing legs back down and switching sides. And now we bring the left hand through the gap in the legs, interlacing fingers behind the right thigh. Relaxing your shoulders, keeping your head on the mat, breathing. Okay, so releasing this, bringing your legs back down. Now we're rolling up to a chair, okay? So see how we do on this. Bringing your knees together, right? And just start to do this bit of a rock, right? So get yourself ready because you're gonna come onto your feet and come into a chair pose. How do we do? How do we do it? Miriam, you can do it. This one takes some practice. Yeah. All right, we're all ball up. So knees come into a bend pose, and we drop our hips and lift our arms. Try to drop your hips down a little bit further here, relaxing shoulders down your back, really extending fingertips towards the sky, breathing. This is the last hard, challenging posture of the entire series. Breathe. All right, great. So come back up to standing, and now get your chair prepared because we're about to do some nice chair stuff too. So just have your chair on the edge of the mat, and we're going to come back down to our backs. Right. So before we do anything with this chair, we're going to come into what's called Supta Baddha Konasana and yoga pose, but it's just lying down on your back and bringing the soles of your feet together. So just opening up your groin, letting your knees fall open, and just breathing. Okay, so the final two positions involve the chair, and they're super relaxing. Right, so we're going to bring your hips, so kind of just scoot your hips towards your chair here, and then we're going to bring the calves on top of the chair, and really kind of get yourself again at this 90-degree angle. So make sure that you're not too far away from your chair as you just come down onto your back, and this is it. So this is called static back, and it's probably the most important of the series. We're here for 5 minutes, and that's it. It's just a matter of just relaxing and allowing gravity to do the work and learning to deactivate this whole area, right? This is almost like the opposite gravitational pull of sitting. And the whole point of this series is to have a pain-free life. So as exercise is a healthy habit, we often motivate ourselves for exercise so that our bodies look better in a bathing suit. And while that's nice and important, I guess, for some people, it's not really why exercise works. That's not what science explains, right? What science proves for why we should be exercising. The reason that we exercise is so that we feel good in our body, so that we're not living in pain, so that our body can function properly with full extension of movement, so we're not hunched around and hurting our lower back, right? So that's what this series is all about, is working every element of our body so that we can have full range of motion and we can be free of pain. And so many people are living with extreme lower back pain. Doing this every day can be a little bit of a miracle. And at first, it feels like a big commitment to have about an hour's worth of movement every day. But as you can see, half of this series is pretty relaxing. And you can make it as long as you want to, or really as short as you want to. We're kind of surging through this whole series. But if you want to hang out for 5 minutes in the supine, in the twist or the supine pigeon, go for it, right? there's only a few exercises that really get the heart moving, but that's enough. You don't really have to run a marathon every day um, to be pain-free, and in fact, you probably will have more pain if you're running the marathon. So we're about halfway through, and you might notice too, as you're just enjoying this stillness, the subtleties that are happening within the hips and the glutes and your thighs. Very subtle, the relaxation that happens because we're so used to activating the psoas and sometimes activating the glutes. Some people walk around clenching, and that's where a lot of pain originates. So this is a matter of just relaxing. So taking your time to notice the subtle changes that are happening just by enjoying this shape. About one more minute. And this is the pose, so the Egoscue series is created by Pete Egoscue. And it's fun to read about how people will come into his office in severe pain. And this is the first pose that he has them do. You know, he doesn't have them go straight into triangle or extended side angle or anything like this. He puts everybody straight into static back. So often this might be the most effective of all of these 21 different exercises in this D-LUX Egoscue series. Okay, so we've done our 5 minutes. We're not changing too much for this final pose. Instead, we're just taking the right leg and bringing it underneath. So we're straightening the right leg underneath the chair and then bringing, so your left leg doesn't move at all, but it takes a little figuring out here. Right, so just having the right foot to try not to have that right foot just flail open, because you're really trying to train your leg to walk forward. Like, so thinking about both feet staying relatively straight. And again, we're here for another 5 minutes. And we switch and then we're done. So we come in at under an hour to do this series. And it's fun to take a baseline. This is something I always encourage with clients starting out healthy habits. Notice how you feel at the beginning. Notice how you feel at the end, right? As you're integrating these habits into your daily routine, what does exercise do to you? How does it feel? What are the benefits that you're getting out of it? This one in particular can just be very effective if you find yourself walking maybe with your feet open a little bit. That's a very common thing, right? This has to do with your hips, right? So we're just training the body to walk forward effectively, and that's going to result in less pain. a little more than halfway. And taking time to notice your body in this stillness, right? Noticing how this feels on your leg, if it's a little difficult for you to keep your toes pointed up, right? Just noticing the sensation in your hip, in the psoas in particular, as you see that's a big muscle group that is activated and deactivated in this series. This is a tempting one as you're doing this regularly to maybe like grab the phone and do some scrolling at this point, right? But instead, really take this time to focus within. Okay, and the final change of the series is just shifting and changing legs. Right, so this series ends somewhat similarly to a yoga class, right? You've noticed there's a few of these yoga stretches in this series, right? But Egoscue doesn't have any sort of spiritual undertones, no spiritual lessons that are associated, no stories about Hindu gods doing anything, right? All this is functional movement here, right? So this isn't necessarily a time where, this isn't corpse pose where we're practicing full body relaxation, but this is still practicing relaxation. So there is a nice similarity, but it's especially nice for people who might be uncomfortable with a yoga practice. This has this is available for everybody, right? So you see it's available for all body types, all levels of fitness. This is a completely accessible series. So that means you have no excuse. Final minute. And we've done it.